Hey, I'm Matt Hudgins, and he's Dave Mulvaney, and this is Profitability MD. Dave, how you doing today, buddy?
Matt, doing great. How are you today?
Man, life is good. Life is good. Off to a good start, having some good meetings. Life's good.
Good. That's what we love to hear.
That's what we love to hear. We are on episode 58. Thought we'd call this How to Systematically Generate Referrals. How to systematically generate referrals. So part of what you and I do as coaches is, I've used this line before, is we help people turn their word of mouth marketing into a systematic. Okay. We talked about that podcast.
Hang on, Matt. You just broke up. So,
try that again.
Sometimes on technical difficulties. Are you back?
I'm almost back. There I am. Now I'm back. Okay. Am I back?
You're back.
All right. So we talked about messaging a little bit last week. You and I as a coaches, one of the messages I use sometime is I help business owners turn their word of mouth marketing into a systematic and repeatable process so they can generate unlimited amounts of business. Okay. That goes back to our messaging we talked about last week.
Sure.
So this week I had a great meeting with a CPA. I get referrals from CPAs and their business owner clients. Okay. But I also help them, the CPA, to grow their business. So CPAs in general, the way that their business grows is 80% of their growth comes from referrals from existing clients. So I'm having this meeting with the CPA. How is your business growing? How is it? Would you like it to grow more? Would you like it to grow faster? Typical business owner, right? I think it's a two CPA partners and 4 assistants kind of thing, juniors. Yes, of course, we'd like to have more clients. We'd like to grow the business. Okay, how do you grow the business? Well, most of our business comes from referrals. Great. And I said, would it happen to be about 80%? He said, yeah, that's about right. About 80% of my business growth comes from referrals. I said, do you have a systematic way to repeat that process? And he says, what do you mean? And I said, well, you and I have talked about this before, Dave, where we talk about, look, there are 3 ways to, 3 things to grow a business. You have to attract new clients. You have to deliver the experience, which for him it's a CPA and bookkeeping and extra services. And then you got to scale and service. We got to keep those existing clients happy. We got to get them to give us referrals, right? So attract, deliver, and scale are the 3 things. So I was talking to him a little bit about that. You want to attract them, but do you have a systematic way to attract referrals, to attract new clients? The answer was no. We don't have a. So here's where we got into how do you systematically generate referrals, right? So if we know, let's take this apart. If we know his business comes from referrals from existing clients, well, number 1, we could just ask for more referrals, right?
Sure.
Right. But what we started doing, and you and I talked about this previously, was let's give his clients a reason to give us a referral. So why don't we create an event? Let's call it event marketing, but it doesn't matter what it is. It could have been a Facebook ad, but in this, let's do an event. So the event would be, why don't you do a client appreciation event where you teach them something? You teach them how to grow their business, how to make more money, how to pay less in taxes. Okay. So in that instance, he's a friend of mine. So yeah, I would love to do it. I'll do a business breakthrough workshop. Business breakthrough workshop. We'll get your clients to come and we're going to teach them a business breakthrough. One of my pitches is how to find $10,000 in any business in 45 minutes or less without spending $1 more on advertising or marketing, right? So that can be our marketing message, business breakthrough. Invite your clients, but ask your clients in addition to bring another business owner who might benefit from a business breakthrough, right?
Yep.
So we're creating an event that invites their existing clients, so a client appreciation event, right? But it's also a referral event. It's really turned into a referral event because we can get his existing clients to bring a friend, bring another business owner, right? Then when we host the event, it'll be all him. It's all him doing, right? He looks good. Hey, I've arranged for this business breakthrough strategist. I've paid for it. I've got it covered. I'm appreciating you, Dave, for being a client of mine for so many years.
And if it's a CPA, the CPA could buy lunch. They could do what they want. It doesn't have to be over the top. I know of multiple investment firms that do this. They'll do this like at Ruth Chris, like
Yes.
free dinner, you and your spouse, and they're going to hit you up for whatever at the end of the thing. But
right. Yeah. For this, we were trying to do it for, let's call it a lunch and learn, or it could be a breakfast meeting. Yeah. And it's try to be a client appreciation for existing clients, but bring a friend. Then the idea would be we'd host the event, talk about the business breakthrough. Of course, he's the CPA. He's the host, right? So he would get his time to speak. Maybe he had, 3 tax saving tips or something where he's the host. He gets to look good. I'll do the business breakthrough. But of course, part of my messaging is I'm trying to help him not only look good, but also to cross-sell or upsell his services, right? The typical CPA does the business taxes and the personal taxes, but most of them also do bookkeeping, profit and loss statements, income statements, cash flow planning, tax planning, right? But not all their business owners use these services, right? So me, during my messaging, I'm trying to help him grow his business. That's one of our things. Remember, we talked about having more transactions from existing clients. So I would be talking up his extra services. Now, what do I get out of it as the coach? Out of the coach, what I'm trying to do is genuinely help some of these guys come through with a business breakthrough. I'm trying to make the CPA look good. I'm trying to generate more business, both from the referrals as well as the cross-selling of his other services. And then I'd like to get some group coaching clients, right? I'd like to get a group coaching clients that I can continue. Hey, if you like what you heard today, I'm starting a new group. Would love to have you guys audition, interview for the spots. I'm only taking on 5 to 8 people, right? And then what I was telling the CPA would be, you ought to join the group as well as a co-host with me. You and I can host the event. That way you'll get a lot more interaction with your existing business clients or any of the referrals, right? And of course, what is my coaching message in my group coaching program going to be? Know your numbers, use your CPA, get bookkeeping, get a P&L, know your KPIs. So I'm going to be cross-selling his services the entire program.
Of course.
So at the end, what ends up happening for him is he's created a systematic way to generate referrals. His referrals right now are drips and drabs that are referrals from existing clients. Oh yeah, I told David to give you a call. Oh yeah, I told Bill to give you a call, right? What we're trying to do is turn it into an event, a thing, a benefit, giving them an excuse to bring a referral. Hey, my CPA is hosting this event, Business Breakthroughs. I'd love to, he's going to teach me how to make more money and take more time off. And I'd love to bring you with us and maybe you learn something too, because my CPA is awesome, right? So then he could do this for, I was even trying to explain to him, this is where you and I talk about niche marketing.
Yeah.
Inside his book, he could say, I'm going to invite all the plumbers and do an event for the plumbers. I'm going to invite all the dentists and do it a group for the dentists. I'm going to invite all, I said, you could do it by group. You could do it by revenue size. I'm going to do all the guys that are $1 million or less.
So let's just pause for a minute. And let's just assume we're talking to a CPA firm that's not a big firm. Let's say they're $1 million a year firm. That's about 200 clients at about $5,000 a piece, okay, a year. So let's say this is a person who has a good firm. He's got a couple of people in the office who help he or she prepare returns. So now you've got 200 clients. Now, the typical referral on those 200 clients, like they tell their friends, hey, I used, Steve Smith, CPA, and they tell their friends. Now, what that does for Steve is it'll trickle in about 3 to 6 clients a year.
That's exactly right. Those numbers are exactly right.
Yeah, so he's growing fairly slowly, but he's happy because every year, but he's really out of 3 to 6. Yeah.
He might lose a client. You have people that retire or sell their business. So
that's where I was going to go next.
Okay, I'm sorry. Yeah. They got people that sell or retire each year. So really, that's almost a net break even at those kind of rates.
Yeah. So what ends up happening is that growth, it almost doesn't even keep up with inflation. Right. So, Steve lives a comfortable living. But what we're talking about is Steve inviting a group of his existing clients who currently love him, by the way.
Yep.
And you're going to provide tremendous value to those clients. I mean, or we would, that type of thing. You do an event. And like you said, you're going to prop Steve up. And what's going to happen is Steve's going to grow. He could do 2 of these a year and grow 20 to 30 clients, 10 times the client base. Instead of getting 3 to 6, he could grow 30 clients in a year, which would definitely hit Steve's bottom line in his pocket.
Absolutely, because technically he's at a point now where his overhead is the same. Adding a new client goes to his bottom line.
Yeah.
Now, there are other aspects of this, right? So then you get into, we started talking that exact thing with this CPA. They get a little nervous. Oh my gosh, I don't know if I could handle 20 clients, right? Now, that's a whole nother issue, right? That's part of delivering the service. And how would we, just like we talk about your HVAC guys, they're having trouble getting people, good qualified people. CPAs are having difficult times getting good staff, whether it be a staff CPA or a staff bookkeeper. So I think all small businesses, or all businesses in general, right now are having trouble attracting and keeping up with staff, right? So he's going to need some of his own stuff, his own coaching to kind of, wow, how do we fix that problem? But that is a secondary problem, right? Don't use that as an excuse not to grow, right?
Well, and that's the thing, Matt. The reality with accounting is the good thing is it's math, and math doesn't lie. So if you hire a qualified accountant, and they are out there, if you're making money, it'll never be a problem to find the right people if you're willing to part with some of that money. So economies of scale. If you had one staff accountant,
right,
you could probably, that staff accountant could probably handle 100 accounts. So there's your economy of scale. Sure, you're 100, whatever. Let's just say you're a 100-person firm right now. You're doing $500,000 a year. You add 20 clients. Well, you might have to add somebody, but the next 80 that you add over, if you do that every year for the next 5 years, in the next 4 years, those are all gravy. That's all profit after you add the staff accountant. So, if you look at it that way, it's well worth it.
It's well worth it. And that gets back into, like I said, that would be part of that's coaching. We're really talking about how to systematize your generating referrals. That's more about how to scale and your wow experience in creating that, right?
Yep.
And literally this leads into, where's his other weakness is he doesn't do a good job following up with the referrals he does have. He doesn't do a good job with following up with the existing clients he has. So that gets you. We and I have talked about drip email sequences and drip campaigns, and I call it a client communication system. How often are you proactively reaching out? But that can all be automated, right? So,
and yes, and the way to automate that would be you as the accountant, you pick some of your specialties, you create lead magnets, blog posting, whatever. You create attraction tools that will keep your existing clients going, oh, that's a cool thing to know. That's a cool thing to know. And you drip that out through both your blog and you don't have to write this, by the way, but and your email
right.
sequence, so that you're reaching your existing clients and you're going to talk to them on a regular basis. That's part of it. That's part of that scale and service. You've got to continue to talk to all of your clients on a regular basis.
You got to keep talking about it. So it's really funny. This leads into, we were talking about taking his word of mouth and systematize it by doing what I call event marketing, client appreciation marketing, where we're appreciating our existing clients. We're going to upsell them, cross-sell them to more transactions with our existing clients. And we're going to tell them to invite a guest, which is much better than, hey, Dave, next time you see somebody, would you please hand out my business card, right? We created the event so they have the excuse to bring a referral.
Yeah.
Right. It makes it that's systematizing the referral process. I'm going to take it a different direction, which was the other meeting I had with let's call it, he's a money lender, but it's non-traditional. So these are the type hard money loans.
Yep.
Yeah. Hard money is a great description. So it's deals that a traditional bank won't do, a traditional mortgage broker won't do. Okay.
Yep.
Again, now we've backed up before. So what do we got to do? You got to attract, deliver, and scale and service, right? So back up. Part of our attracting is who's our ideal target market. We've talked about that before.
Yep.
I think last week on the podcast, we talked about your $1 million message. Remember, I think that was our last podcast, right? So in this guy, we came up with a great $1 million message. This was I guess it was yesterday morning meeting. And it was, I help, in this case, we're looking for real estate investors, right? So I help real estate investors get deals done that didn't get done than should have gotten done. Okay. We had it more eloquent than that.
Sure.
But the idea was, what does that say? I help a real estate investor because we're going after hard money loans. Let's talk about it. So he wants real estate investors as his target market. I help real estate investors who didn't get a traditional loan, basically who got a deal that didn't get done, but it should have gotten done, right?
Yep.
Numbers work. There's some reason the bank won't loan us the money, right? It's because you had a bankruptcy. It's because there's more construction, or because it's a two-part deal, right? Banks have a lot of very strict lending criteria, right? So the message was trying to be, we get deals done. We don't do crappy deals. We do deals that should have gotten done. They just didn't get done from some technicality.
Yep, I get them. I mean, I get those calls all the time from.
I'm sure you do.
Yep.
And that's the message is, all right, so now who is his target market? His target market is real estate investors, right?
Yep.
But his target market is also centers of influence who have those people as clients. So real estate agents, right?
Yep.
They're real estate agents that specialize in flips or have a good portion of their business in flips. There are mortgage brokers who turn down deals, right?
Always.
Always.
They don't want to. They want to get paid.
Correct. So they could refer the business to him, right? So I call it mortgage brokers, commercial lenders. There are contractors. So a lot of times a contractor wants to do his own spec house, his own flip, right? That would be
Sure.
good. A lot of time a contractor has subs. Hey, my carpentry guy was talking about doing some flips. Maybe he should talk to you, right? So his attraction is the $1 million marketing message. I help get deals done that should have gotten done to get done. But he can deliver that message to all those other people, real estate agents, mortgage brokers, commercial lenders, contractors. I'm just using that as his target market, right? So in him, he's an old-fashioned. I say old-fashioned marketing. So for him, he's a face-to-face guy, likes to have the coffees, likes to go walk the properties. So his is how to systematically generate referrals. It is the old-fashioned meetings, right? How many meetings a day do you want to have, or a week? And you're going to fill those meetings up with the people I just mentioned.
Sure.
Investor would be great, but obviously a real estate agent who has flippers, mortgage broker, commercial lender, contractors. That's your marketing. So then you set a goal. Let's say I'm just making up a number. You want 4 meetings a day, 4 days a week, because Fridays you're doing something else, right? So you want 16 meetings a week. So now your job is, I need to fill 16 meetings a week, 8, 10, 12, 2 and 4, whatever the numbers work out for you, with those people, right? And that's where you got his existing network. The guy's been around for a long time, so he's got a lot of contacts to begin with. But
Sure.
At every one of those meetings, you're just asking for, who else do you think I should talk to? So if you're talking to a real estate agent about flippers, people who are flipping, or real estate investors, who else do you know who you think I should talk to? Do you know any other real estate agents that specialize in real estate investors? Do you know any other brokers? Do you know any? So every meeting, his goal is not to necessarily get a deal from that real estate agent, but it's to get 2, 3, 4, 5 more people to talk to.
Oh, of course. And here's an important thing because he's a good old boy like that.
Yep.
And he's been doing that a while. I mean, the reality is he's not coming across as salesy. When doesn't this work? If you come across like all salesy and like it doesn't work, because nobody wants to refer a salesperson. I always think of that. Have you seen the movie True Lies with Schwarzenegger and Jamie Lee Curtis?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so I think of Bill Paxton in that movie when he's the car salesman. That's what people think of when they think of a salesman, but that's not the guy we're talking about here. This is a guy who's a good old boy, really good with people, and
Yep.
He wants the extra referrals. He wants those 4 to 5 referrals out of that meeting.
Right. And listen to that. So his meeting, that we even talked about this, was, gosh, what do I say during those meetings? And you know what to say during those meetings, but he is a great storyteller, right? So just pick a story of the week. And you're going to tell that same story 16 times this week of how you helped, did a hard money loan for a flipper, right? And how it turned out wonderful, right? Or how you got a referral from a mortgage broker from a deal that didn't get done and I was able to get it done. You just tell the same story 16 times. Hell, maybe it's the same story for the month, right? That's not cheesy salesman. That is, we haven't even talked about story brand marketing and that type stuff.
Sure.
Where the hero. But my point is, you're exactly right. You're not a cheesy salesman. You're coming and saying, hey, here's what we do. I help get deals done that didn't get done, that should have gotten done. You know anybody else I should talk to? By the way, here's one of those deals that I did recently. Boom. That's the meeting. Move on to the next. Try to get a couple names. The second part of this equation is, attract, deliver, and scale and service is the drip campaign. That's what reminded me we were talking about for the CPA would be. So now what? After every meeting, he puts those guys on his drip email campaign, right? Is that a weekly email? Is that every 2 weeks? Is that once a month? I don't know. It depends on him. But again, that's his system. 16 meetings, email that goes out every week or two. I forget what he, I think.
And here's the thing about that. I always thought, okay, so you just covered a lot.
I know.
Okay, in that you covered ideal market. You got to have a medium, and this what we're talking about right now is the medium, and then you have a message. Okay, and you mentioned the message before, so the medium to deliver that message. So he's going to get 16. He's going to tell his story this 16 times. Let's just say he's going to do that in 1 week. He's got one story 16 times. He really needs to tell that story 17 times, one of those times into a recorder, and then have that literally turned into text using and then now you have a blog post, which has that same story. And that blog post could also be a video or
an email, right?
And an email and all of this stuff. You can have that all edited into multiple pieces of content that this guy's already doing something. He's going to say,
he's got a million stories. The guy's got a million. So he's been in business forever.
But so when people say, I don't have time for all this social media, we're talking about you're doing one thing already 16 times. Add one more time where you record it or what have you, and then get that information out, because ultimately your net keeps spreading wider and wider each time you put content out. And
right. And that literally is how to systematize generating referrals, right? He gets referrals from these type meetings. He just hasn't been as regular as he has been. So for him, the focus is the process. The focus is two parts of the process. For him, it's let's have 16 meetings a week and let's have an email, let's drip on them. That's it. That's his system to check. If he has these meetings and stays in touch with these people and emails them, business just comes.
Oh, it would have to. I mean, it would have to.
Right. Just like we go back to that CPA, if that CPA had 3 or 4 events a year that he did for his clients, and he asked his clients to bring in other potential referrals, that has to generate more business from existing clients and referrals from his existing clients. It has to, because it's a systemized process. You're going to do an event in May. You're going to do an event in August. We're going to do an event end of the year planning, beginning, right? You can start to do 4 a year, once a quarter. It's the process itself you focus on, because attract, deliver, scale, and service. Boom. And we're just systematizing. These are things you're probably doing, and it's probably what's going on with your business now, but it's just haphazardly, right?
So it's been said, if you will systematize your marketing message, that's what we're talking about.
Yep.
It will take a good company that's small, and it'll make it a lot bigger. Now, it'll also make a bad company bigger and will expose you as a bad company quicker. So if you're run a legitimate business, this is how you scale your business. And and it's you notice we're not telling you that you got to hire a guru if you're already the type of person who is really good at these stories. You're just talking about following up with your existing type of people. The people already like you. Some of them don't, and if they don't, they opt out of your communication, and when that happens, they didn't like you anyway. So you're only dealing with people who like you. And
we've talked about this way in the past, is it takes somewhere between, depending on your message, I've heard 7 or 8 times, I've heard 100 times that you've got to get in front and talk to people and communicate with them, right? And we are all terrible at follow-up, which is why that third part, the scale and service part, we have to commit to. So I want to stress the importance of that. That's not the point of this podcast. This podcast was how to systematize your referrals. But that back end, scale and service, your drip email campaigns, is part of that systematizing your referral process, because we're all stink at follow-up.
Yeah. I mean, and ultimately you said, well, it could take 7 touches. It all is dependent on the state of awareness of the client.
Right.
If you're selling a commoditized product like cigarettes or beer or soda, you probably need 100 visual impressions, maybe even as many as 1,000 visual impressions before somebody will consider your product, because it's so mainstream. But when you're talking about like one-on-one type solution, solving a problem for clients, 7, maybe 8 touches usually generates a sale of some kind.
Yeah. I mean, imagine that when you're, let's go back to the hard money lender, the alternative lending guy. He's going to meet with those. And I said, look, it's going to come out. There's your 80-20 rule, that 20% of those guys are going to be the ones that really give you business. And the other 80% are kind of your onesie twosies. You'll know that over time. And those are the ones you'll spend more, the top 20 you'll spend more time with. We called it in Strategic Coach, top 20 in Farm Club, right? Yep. But Perry Marshall calls it the 80-20, right? And we've talked about 80-20. So 20%. So there's a whole thing we're not talking about. You'll be able to fill up those 16 meetings without a problem. And eventually you'll be filling those up with your top 20 referral sources and maybe the occasional onesie twosie. But the onesie twosie guys, you got them on the drip campaign anyway, right? Talking with them once a year and emails. So it's, I know we're coming towards our end of time, but it's like, I get really excited about that. Like, this is business, right? This is how to systematize your word of mouth referrals.
Yeah.
Right? How many times have you heard, how do you grow? Oh, word of mouth. We're word of mouth. We're word of mouth. What I'm trying to get you to do is systematize that word of mouth so you'll make more money. Then you'll be able to take more time off, right? And then you'll be a more profitable business.
Well,
right?
You need more mouths. That's all we're saying. If you're gonna grow your business on word of mouth, get a lot more mouths with the words in it. That's what you really need.
There you go. Get more mouths. You need more at bats. You need more leads, right?
Exactly. But we're not trying to turn you into some online entrepreneur. We're showing you how to systematize and generate those referrals from the way you're doing things now without creating a whole new thing. You got to add a couple systems there, which is the follow-up, the drip campaigns, those type of things. If you're not doing that and you want to say, well, that's just not me, well, you need to make that become you very soon. That's the way things are done. So
that's pretty good. So how to systematize generating referrals. You need to kind of systematize, automate the things you're already doing. They give you the CPA example. We gave you the hard money lender as the example. We could use a million examples. Those are just 2 that I had this week that I thought would be great to share with our group.
Yeah, because one required an event, the other really just changing the way somebody already does things.
Yeah. All right, man. Where can we find Mr. Mulvaney?
Matt, you can find me at davidmulvaney.com. You can find me at LinkedIn at David Mulvaney, and you can find this show at profitabilitymd.com. The MD stands for Matt and Dave. Matt, where can we find you?
Perfect. So Matt Hudgins over on LinkedIn. I got my coaching website, 10X Profitability.
10X Profit Blueprint.
10X Profit Blueprint. Gosh, I'm getting a mixture because we got Profitability MD.
Yeah, of course.
That's for our blog. For our podcast.
That's a lot of profit.
That's a lot of profit. We'll 10X it, we'll 10 times it.
Yeah.
But so you and I are going to do an event. We'll keep talking about that. So we'll get that on the schedule. But this is the kind of stuff that we would do. We would have an event, ask people. You and I talked about joint venturing with somebody to help us get the people in the room, make them look good. So we are going to do an event so people can learn how to systematize their own referrals sometime here in the early spring. So,
and if you're a CPA,
business broker,
different type of client, if you want us to come in and host an event with you and help you put this whole thing together, just reach out to us through our website at profitabilitymd.com, and we'll arrange everything. And depending on what part of the world you're in, we'll determine
make it happen.
How soon we can make it happen. So,
all right, man. Be good. Stay warm.
Gonna try. You too. Take care.